Good evening. Welcome back to Eagle Eyed Football. Today we are having a Euro 2020 preview, and yes, it is 2021. However, organisers have decided to keep the original name from last year as Euro 2020. I've got two amazing guests today, rightfully representing their nations. We got Leo, obviously representing Italy, and Joe's here to talk England. So, thank you guys for coming on.
It's the other way, right?
No worries.
It's the reverse
All
on this
good.
side. All day.
Absolutely. So as you know, it's Euro 2020, and what I'm going to do quickly is just pull up the groups for us to see. So Group A, we have Turkey, Italy, Wales, and Switzerland. And as we know, Italy-Turkey is the first game tomorrow. Group B, Denmark, Finland, Belgium, Russia. Group C, Netherlands, Ukraine, Austria, and North Macedonia. Group D, England, Croatia, Scotland, and Czech Republic. Group E, Spain, Sweden, Poland, and Slovakia. And lastly, the group of death, Hungary, Portugal, France, and Germany. So, let's start off with Italy. Leo.
Yeah, let's start off with Italy.
Go on.
Go on.
Thoughts on Italy as a squad, as a nation, and their chances?
Now, I could be really stereotypical Italian and not really talk about our kind of what we're going to do because I just don't want to break like the omen. But I think looking at, look, man, I got to stare. When I'm always asked, what do you think Italy's going to do? I'm one of these people who just watches and just sees what happened. The same with 2006 when we won the World Cup. Didn't really say anything, and obviously we did what we did. But I'm saying, looking at what Mancini's done with the team and what he had in his hands when he first arrived, he's changed a lot of mentalities. I mean, we're still with the old guard of Bonucci and Chiellini, which is a bit, as a Juve fan myself, I know that they kind of hit their peak and gone past it. But the difference is they've got experience. So I guess, obviously, if you place Chiellini and someone else like Romagnoli or someone a bit more younger at the back, then that'll count out really well because you've got to have the old guard and the new generation coming in. So that will reflect. Playing both, my worry is that they're too slow and they'll be left basically by any pacey kind of forwards. Talking about forwards, obviously we've got Ciro Immobile, but yeah, again, what he does for Lazio doesn't seem to do for the national team. Insigne seems to be playing quite well, and the decision to bring Bernardeschi as well was a bit criticised by the Italian media and a lot of Italians because obviously he didn't play much for Juventus this season, but Mancini thought bring him along and left Moise Kean back in Italy, which I'm a bit sad about because actually I'm a fan of Moise Kean, and I think although Juventus sold him and then obviously came over to Everton and then he did his transfer to PSG, yes, it's the French league, but someone so young to be playing around players like Mbappe and Neymar, he's actually done really well this season, and he should have been brought just for one for youth, another for experience, and the other thing for exposure as well. But obviously we went down that route. He obviously knows what he's doing. He's getting paid the bucks, matter. So we can argue it till we're blue in the face or as blue as this fucking t-shirt. But Mancini at the end of the day made the last decision and left Moise Kean at home. So I'm a bit sceptical about our forwards, and I think it's a bit hot and cold. So I'm a bit worried about the Turkey game because Turkey are another team that are a bit of a dark horse where, yes, they have the whole Mediterranean kind of play and feel, but they are quite strong. They're quite strong in midfield and defensively. So they need one break and it could cause chaos basically at the back for us. So kind of a bit worried about it, So that's my take on the Italy game and my worries so far, I'd say.
Sure. You mentioned obviously 2006. How do you feel you as a nation has progressed since then? Because a lot may feel like Italy are kind of like falling behind, if that makes sense.
No, I mean, generation-wise, you know, you look at the team that was in the 2006. They were the under when the under 21s. We had the Piero del Piero, Cannavaro, Nesta. We had the big players, and they obviously turned up to the tournament finally in 2006 when most of the players were in their prime, but also at the latter end of their careers. So obviously, like if you look at Del Piero, knows it up against Mexico. No, against France in the Euros where we lost on golden goal. And, we lost golden goal there. He had an opportunity. And there was, I don't think he ever lived that down. And then obviously he made amends against Germany in the semi-final. And I think that generation needed to do something, especially with Buffon in goal and, all of that. Yes, I think we did the whole old guard thing. We played them again in the next tournament. And obviously we played really poorly. Then the tournament after that, where we got to the final, got absolutely battered by the Spanish in the final 4-0. But that was Balotelli's tournament. And I think, that was a generation where if he had been kept under control, him and Cassano, we could have done big things. But yet again, obviously, we didn't. He went off the rails. Cassano went off the rails. And obviously now Italy are starting to rebuild. But, I don't want to sound too cliche, but Rome wasn't built in a day, man. So we are now kind of back at that kind of level. And we'll see what happens in this tournament.
Absolutely. Joe, moving to you. It seems like England's been rebuilding since 1966.
That's what I mean. I think it's that.
What's your thoughts on the current crop?
There's talent there. There's 100% talent there. I mean, we've got experience. I don't care that they haven't got international experience. They've got club experience now. They've won across Europe and stuff like that. But the whole thing lays down at the manager for me. Like, I just don't think if we had a manager who's won something and actually got the tactics rather than start rotating, like playing 3 at the back or 4 at the back, it just don't seem like he actually knows 100% what his best 11 is. And I want to say this sort of competition and the players that are coming through, young and older, we should be going attacking regardless. Like, I'd rather we go out and lose 4-3, but at least we gave it a go, than play for the 1-0 and then just sit back. And I know it's a results game. They're going to be on his case because it's all coming home. It's at Wembley. That's where the home advantage lays. But I'm gobsmacked that England are second favourites, or joint favourites with France, because they don't seem to they haven't been anywhere near to winning anything since, like you say, 1966. So for me, it's a big step, and for a change, in a way, the media have been on our side. So usually there's a story that comes out. I'm waiting for it to come. It's still got till Sunday. I'm waiting for a leaked story to turn against one of the team members. But at the same time, for a change, it looks like they're trying to, maybe it might be the whole COVID thing, trying to bring people a bit of cheer and joy, false hope. But this is the time, if anything, they're playing at Wembley. I don't see why they can't just have a go and see what goes. But at the same time, I'm not 100% confident.
You mentioned Southgate. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. You said that obviously you feel like you may need a manager with more experience. At one stage, you had change his name. Look at this guy. At one stage, you had Capello, a serial winner, and that didn't work out. So, do you feel like Southgate's getting a bit of bad press, especially considering he made a World Cup semi-final as well?
I feel though, the thing is, England over the last, let's say, 15 years, since I've probably been watching since 1996, that I can actually remember, other than the adverts I've seen Gascoigne and Guine and whatnot, I'd say, I think, I wouldn't say you've got to have an English manager, because that's not the way things always go. But at the same time, is he the best English manager out there that could get the best out of this team? That's the way I look at it. And I mean, Capello, he's run things in certain ways, but that's like someone saying Mourinho could come in and try and do this with the England squad. But I think with internationals, it is a bit of a like, well, especially with the England job, it's a bit of a yes man job, especially with the FA circulating around, pulling all the string most of the time, and it just makes me think there's a little bit of corruption, really. Like he's happy to take the flak, and he knows full well that this is probably the best job he's ever going to get. So why would you want to leave something that's going to be your highest job that you'll probably get? He ain't going to go anywhere above that at club level. So for me, it's, I don't know. Like I always say, like for example, Arsene Wenger could come into this England team, for example. He plays attacking football. He'd probably get the best out of this squad, and he'd know what to do in one competition. If someone said that Southgate can't make this tournament, he'd be the first one that I'll pull out, and I'm a United fan. So if he's still out for football, unless it would be Alex Ferguson otherwise, but he won't have that being Scottish.
Fair point. Lynn, it seems like you wanted to say something on that.
Yeah, I want to kind of disagree with you. Like, if you look, I mean, obviously, I was born in England. Both my parents are Italian, hence the Italian, and obviously, my dad made me watch Italy, and thank God. No, I'm joking. In the long run, no. Thing is, I got a soft spot for England. Obviously, watching them in the last, in the last tournament. Again, to semis against Croatia. You know, 1-0 up, could have done more, but then obviously did the whole let's sit on it and then obviously concede, and then obviously went the way it went and went A over T. But what I'm going to say is Gareth Southgate has done one thing, and actually he's brought the youth system into play, which is, if you're thinking back to your Gerrards, your Lampards, your Scholes, you know, all of that. How long did they play in that team? Even if Gerrard had a poor season or Lampard had a poor season, they still make it into the team. And they didn't go by, you know, they had a good season. It was by name. And that's the problem. As you say with the FA, it's not about corruption. It's about what you know and who you know. And, you know, you got to say, think, actually, we need people to watch games. We need the fans. So what we're going to give them is the players they want, even if they're underperforming. So for me, what he's done, like, I'm not being funny, Trent Alexander this season done absolutely nothing with Liverpool. Had a poor season. Well, he wasn't going to be called up. Big uproar. What happened? Got called up, got injured, out of the team. Now for me, you got a player like Jess Lingard, left United to go to West Ham, absolutely exploded at West Ham, and you don't get called up to the team. But then Trent Alexander gets injured. What happens? Man gets pulled in because obviously the big uproar there. Now, for me, I'm going to say Gareth Southgate said something to Trent and said, look, you've been hit this season. Pull an injury, pull out this tournament so I can put someone else in. Because I think in the long run, how the hell do you got to go to a tournament with 4 right backs? What do you need 4 right backs for, man?
Yeah.
Looks like it's
that mentality. You're going to a tournament with 4 right backs, mate. Like, they're not all going to get a game. You got Reece James, who absolutely destroyed the Sterling in the final of the Champions League. Yeah, I'd say look at the players that actually are performing and play them in the team. Centrally, defensively, England have got issues. For me, Stones, no. Maguire, if he pulls out, you know, if he manages to make it into the team, he's not going to be 100% as well. So it's all of this thing that yet again, they're not looking at who's available. They're looking at who they're trying to make available. It's like when Rooney hurt his metatarsal, everyone's like, I'll pray for Rooney to play. He underperformed. And these are the things that's worrying, is that they're going to play no matter who's injured. They're going to give them that injection to push them through a game. They lose. What happens? Those poor sods get criticised, and Southgate's just sitting on a paycheck. So it's all these little things that I don't think, you know, coming from a person that, as I say, that I do watch England, I like England. That's what pisses me off about England, which is why they're never going to win something, because they haven't got that mentality of actually you haven't played that well. Couldn't care if you throw your toys out of the pram. You ain't coming. End of, done. And that's how you make a player grow and move forward in their career. Not just saying, oh, I'm living off my name. Oh, I won a Champions League. I won the Premiership. You need to play me. It's those little things that I think is different at the moment in football mentality around the world, not just in the UK.
That's a fair point. I agree. I mean, like I think as well. Like, I mean, for me, if starting 11 this Sunday, if I was to look into it, I might be jumping the topic a little bit, but I think
No, it's fine, go
Sterling
ahead.
and Rashford form wise, come off a bench for me. They should not be anywhere in the starting 11 because
No.
they
I
haven't
agree.
won. They haven't won a starting place for me, even though they've had their starting like Rashford the other day for a friendly. Friendlies to me mean they do mean something because I looked at them two friendlies and they were very boring. I know they don't want to get injured, but they did get injured. And you've got like the likes of people making mistakes like Tyron Mings. I thought he was shocking. I wouldn't even put him in the first 11. He's another one. Mings, I don't even think he's the best Aston Villa centre back, and that's saying it. That's saying something, and he doesn't even get a call up. Concha's better than him, and I just think that because he likes to kick people about, puts his body about, but I don't get it. Baffling. Like you got the likes of Cody, like good player probably last season, but this season he can only play in the back three, and if we play a back three, it's just going to be boring. So I think he's made some dodgy decisions, like in what he's brought centre back wise, like say right back wise, and he's got some big decisions on the selection of 11. There has been a few injuries towards the end of the season where if you'd have probably picked them at the like midway through the season, like on form wise, you're going to have to take a gamble with them because I think that they're going to make things happen more than the people that have like basically like risking it and like bit of a fraud to me in my eyes start nicking a place of someone else. But I can see what you say about Maguire and Stones because Stones isn't in the City squad, so they've got more of a chance of him making a mistake. And like you say, with Maguire, he's not 100% fit. He hasn't had any sort of like match fitness. So if I was another opposition player, you'd be worrying about his ankle. So you'd be targeting that. So it's all them little things that all add up that how can you get through a big, intense tournament and then not have a fully fit 11, like with all your hopes riding on them, like you say, with the players with injuries. So yeah, that's why I'm 100% confident.
Do you know what? Also, you've got to think about what he's trying to do in the England team is trying to mimic club level football. So, like the three at the back, that won't work in England. And I'm not going to say England is always going to be, and no matter if it's an old tactic, they're a 4-4-2 team, mate. Simple as either 4-4-2 with a diamond shape and two up front. Because you could do the wings that push a little bit more forward with one in the middle, with like the likes of Sterling on the left as well, if he's in form, and then on the right, depending who you get on there as well. So it's all these little things you've got to look at. But for me, I think what he's trying to do, yes, the game has become more modern, but the thing is, England are not able to adapt to that kind of play at the moment because what you got to think about is you got players like Mason Mount that's coming through. In the middle, who's he playing with? You're playing with Kai Havertz. You're playing with Werner, who are German at the end of the day. You haven't got a load of other English players around you. You know what I mean? Yes, Reece James is there as well, but yet again, he's on the right at the back or coming the right wing as well, depending on what you're getting. But you got to look at these players that are playing at club level. They've always got non-English players around them, which is why the game molds around that kind of play. Put a full English team there. For me, you're not going to get tiki-taka. You're not going to get that. You got to play what you know. And what it is, if you're thinking back to Trevor Brooking said it whilst he was with West Ham about the youth systems not being utilised correctly. Now they're starting to be utilised correctly. What we're not doing, or you guys are not doing, is showing the potential English way of playing or what we can actually do. We're trying to perform like the Spains or like the Portugals and the one touches and all of this. And sometimes it just don't work because you got to think about the centre backs are much more stodgier in England. They generally are. They're not going to be that pacey. You're not going to get them. You haven't got the Sol Campbells and the Rio Ferdinands at the back at the moment who actually had a bit of pace as well as strength. You've got the stodgier ones like Maguire and Stones who are in both injury prone, but also they need to be the ones that are just there, the force for you, holding the ball up and passing it around so the ball moves forward in the right way, not running. Yeah, it's just all of that. I think yes, they modernise the game, but actually, are they playing to what there is expected from the FA? I don't think they are. They're trying to mimic other teams.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to pick the bones of I know this England squad needs picking. We're definitely going to pick the
My
bones.
England top on, I can do, you know. I don't.
But just quickly before we actually really delve into the squads themselves,
Yeah.
who do you think's under more pressure from their respective media, Italy or England?
For me, I mean, I haven't read like a Gazzetta dello Sport for a while. So obviously, I used to buy it. I do read it online sometimes, and I haven't followed the Italian media that much. But obviously, in our last game that we played was at Czech Republic, and we won 4-0. I was like, wow. Because Czech Republic they're not a rubbish team. Yes, they're not the Karapoporski days and those kind of days, but they're still not rubbish. Do you know what I mean? All right. I was just like, damn, we were 4-0. We haven't conceded in about 3-4 games or whatever it is. So there's consistency there. But my worry is that if we get too comfortable and the Italian media start getting comfortable, that's when Italy underperform. So for me, not seeing too much media exposure or hearing about it through my dad, because he's like watching the telegiornale. He's like, he tells me everything about it. He's like, yeah, this happened today. I did it. But basically, what you realize is, not hearing that much, there seems to be less pressure on that as well. So I'm guessing less pressure on them, the better their performance. The same as when Marcello Lippi won it with us in 2006. Italy had their own problems with the whole Calciopoli thing of Juventus and all that malarkey. So there was no pressure. We went out there and did what we did, and obviously come back with the goods. So potentially, could this be a good omen for us? But as I say, I don't know, man. I'm just so at this kind of worry and excitement all at the same time.
Yeah.
But I just don't want to jump the gun. Like my if you, I'm going to say back in 2006, the game that I worried about the most was against Ghana. Joker side was against Ghana because I got so many Ghanaian friends. Shut up! I got so many Ghanaian friends, and you know, in your head, you're thinking, if we lose this or something goes off, I'm never going to live it down. And obviously, when we broke the dot with Pirlo, and then I think it was Quinta scored. Yeah. Man, for me, that was the biggest relief. And then the next game that I actually basically worried about was against Germany in the semi-final, and that was it. Other games, you know, like. You just watched it. I even missed the Ukraine game when we won 3-0 or whatever it was. I didn't even watch. I was out and about. And obviously, we'll see what happens this time around, isn't it? So,
Joe, English media.
It is a bit refreshing to see like no story so far. Like I said earlier, about any like players like dodgy headline coming out or something like a targeted player, key player, for example. Like last time we had the Sterling, I think it was to do with the gun toe, and then it's just like anything to do like with Sterling related, they'd blow it out of proportion or whatnot. And but this time it seems like the media, I think it's almost like they try and take it away from, not to be cliche, but the whole COVID, because they want to give like some sort of like cheer of like it's at Wembley, it's coming home, all that kind of stuff. And from like the last World Cup as well, I think England kind of overachieved. You actually be real with the whole thing. England overachieved. Didn't really play well against the big teams, and didn't look like they were ever going to win it. So, like, I mean, as much as the hype goes on, everyone gets carried away. You have a few beers and whatnot, and you start to like have that inkling that you start dreaming, but when you wake up, it ain't gonna happen. Like until they actually have an actual proper setup in my eyes.
I'm glad you said that regarding England and overachieving, because when you look back at it, it wasn't a hard group.
No.
Mine is Belgium, who it's kind of
couldn't
like
beat twice. Yeah.
You know? And then also Croatia was the next hot, and that game was managed.
Colombia.
But they're not really a big club. Like the route that France had was a lot harder. I believe they had Brazil and Belgium. You know, so not taking anything away from England, but it was an easy route and such. But what I am impressed with regarding the English media is normally England get overhyped, and that hasn't happened. I don't think I've seen it happen as it usually does. Like the whole "it's coming home" stuff and the singing and the songs and like, yes, so we've got this player and that player. I think it seems a little bit more relaxed, or maybe I'm mistaken.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, like, say for example, look at the other day. I mean, you got Phil Foden. He goes out and dyes his hair like Gaza. So then you're getting that little bit of hype. You're relating him to the 96. Then instantly, then you start thinking, in my head straight away, all I thought of when I saw, I mean, I love the whole hype of he's trying to make it out that he's not like done it for Glasgow and like use or whatever. But yeah, and it's back at Wembley like the 96 was. But in my head, all I can remember from 96, other than we actually played well against some of the big countries, but Gareth Southgate missed that crucial penalty. He didn't step up. He just couldn't score. I don't even think I've still forgiven him for that. And we could have won that game with chances as well. So it's still like until he can eradicate that mistake, and if he won it, then yeah, maybe I can put that to the back of my head. But it's a big ask.
Sure. Let's move on to the squads, the actual players. And obviously, Leo, you're going to have to give us a bit more insight to the Italian squad. You've mentioned a few of the defenders and such. Is there any player out there that's like a hidden gem in your squad, like player to watch out for?
Do you want to go first, Joe? Well, I can.
Yeah, go on. I've got some pressing questions for Joe.
Let me just see. Hang on a minute. 2 secs. We'll just make our life easier, innit? Hang on.
Let me get there. Let me get the squad up.
Yeah. All right. It doesn't allow to do all of it. Hang on. So we do that. And then that should be the rest of it. Yeah. So now, obviously we got Donnarumma in goal, or Sirigu and Meret from Napoli. Now, for me, obviously Donnarumma's a bit hit and miss. He's a good goalkeeper in regards to he's got the height and he's got the movement because he's so young. For me, where he lacks is obviously experience. I don't think no one's going to be at Buffon's level. For me, Sirigu is a better shot stopper in regards that he's got a bit more bulk behind him and he's a bit more stronger, so he's still got that agility as well. If we're looking at our defence, obviously, as I said previously, we've got the old guard of Chiellini and Bonucci, but then we've got Acerbi from Lazio, Bastone, who's youth coming in from Inter Milan. Di Lorenzo, obviously, Napoli, another hit and miss player. Emerson didn't really feature for us at Chelsea. Yes, he scored.
The Emerson.
Yeah.
I didn't realize he was Italian.
Right back. Yeah, right back. Emerson. He featured against Atletico Madrid, scored a goal, but that's basically it. Florenzi moving to PSG. Initially, I was a bit upset because I actually really like him, being sold from Roma, but yet again, big player for big occasions. Really, still got the pace, still got that technical ability to pass the ball really well. Spinazzola from Roma. Now they had a hit and miss season, so I'm not too sure. Toloi, Atalanta, another youth system in Italy where they're actually bringing some amazing players through as well. So we'll just keep an eye out for him. Then we're going into our midfield. So Nicolo Barella from Inter Milan, another youth player, scored quite a few goals this season, done really well. The one I mentioned earlier, Bernardeschi. Yet again, what he does for Italy doesn't do for Juventus, but then yet again, he's not going to get as much play time if we've got Federico Chiesa in the team as well, and Chiesa's been brought as well. Cristante from Roma, yet again, didn't really follow Roma this season, but they had a bit of a hit and miss. Jorginho, Give him a penalty, unbelievable. Give him anything else, well, mate. I think he should have taken the Brazilian route and gone that way. For me, where he was at Napoli, he's not been at Chelsea, and I think N'Golo Kante has actually kind of carried him quite a bit. I'm not going to be too negative about him. He does deliver the ball really well. He does, like, if he finds a gap, the ball arrives to you, and you do get that kind of delivery. But as I say, yeah, I'd rather he didn't shoot and just pass the ball, basically. Locatelli, very good player, ex-Milan player, went to Sassuolo, very good player. Lorenzo Pellegrini, Roma, good player as well. Stefano Sensi, pacey, midfield, really good. Marco Verratti, short, but actually...
He's quality.
Yeah. He could just fire the ball, mate. He's like I was about to say that. He's the white version of N'Golo Kante, man. He's the Italian N'Golo Kante, man. He's about the same height and pace, man. Thing is, he's just a bit more aggressive where he'll get sent off. He does stupid things. So I'd say catch him on a good day, unbelievable. On a bad day, just forget it. And then we're looking at our forwards. This is my biggest ball ache, man. Belotti. When on fire, forget it. Nothing from no one, man. The guy's got strength, got pace. But for me, he's just been very hit and miss for Torino this season. Domenico Berardi actually really come into his own at Sassuolo. Plays on the right, really good, really pacey. Ciro Immobile, yet again, another one. Stick the ball, he knows where the net is. Actually, but as I say, his performances from Lazio to Italy, completely different kettle of fish. But then, yeah, again, look who he's got delivering the ball. And actually give him the right, give him the right delivery. He will stick it in the net. But as I say, for me, he's just a bit... he's not going to be like... If he's either got to do two things. He's got to be either like Bob Vieri, where he wouldn't stop scoring, or he's got to be like Tony, where he'll take 2 games and then he'll start hitting them in as well. Lorenzo Insigne, I think for us, is our star player. As much as I hate to say it, the guy is obviously quite short-statured, but low to the ground, good pace, good delivery of the ball, and now he's just hit his 30s. Pardon?
Great finisher too.
Yeah, so he's just hit his 30s as well, so he's starting to getting his prime, and he potentially could be leaving Napoli, hopefully for Juventus. I'll be sick, but we'll see what happens. And then Raspadori from Sassuolo, don't know much about him, but obviously Mancini's seen something in him. But for me, as I say, I would have definitely probably not brought him and brought Moise Kean, who probably would have given just a little bit more of knowledge about the being playing around bigger players like Mbappe and Neymar. I think he would have performed much better. But as I say, who am I? Yeah, that's the Italy team in a nutshell, mate.
No, thanks for that. It's great to get that insight, especially for those who may not necessarily follow as much. So yeah, no, it was great to know that. Joe, before I'm going to ask you who you would want to start for England, but I just want to throw out some players to you and your thoughts about why they're there or why they have not been picked, for example. So let's start with Aaron. So I'm going to just...
my signal's
Okay, can you hear me now?
A little bit, yeah, it's better now. Yeah, it's better.
I'm just going to, before you say who you'd like to start for England, I'm going to throw out some names and just say your feelings as to why they might not have been picked or why they have been picked.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
So, Wan-Bissaka.
Yeah. I think personally, if he's going to take 4 right backs in the first place, he should have been at least one of the 4, because 1v1 defending wise, which England, when they play the bigger teams and the harder teams, you're going to need someone who's going to stop these attacks. Whereas the reason I reckon Southgate hasn't taken him is because he wants to get into this system of playing almost the wing backs, of attacking fullback, where they're delivering balls, which Wan-Bissaka is not the greatest at, but his greatest attribute is obviously defending.
Injured Marcus Rashford.
I personally, for me, thinking he shouldn't have gone if he knows he's got to have treatment after this Euros competition. So I understand why he wants to go, because he feels that obviously he's an experienced player now for England. He's been around the squad for quite a while, but that doesn't cut it for me. I mean, like, for me, get your body right and then come back for the next competition. Like, you're more hungry for it, and or if anything, it's his own fault in my eyes, because he could have said to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I can't play all these games that you keep asking. He's got back in, he's got forever growing injuries. He might not make it till 30. So he should have looked at his body and thought, you know what, I can't hack it. So I think the only reason he's gone is not because Boris has made him go or whatever. But I do think on his day he is useful to have, and he can be an asset off the bench, but I wouldn't start him.
Yeah, I agree. I think he runs the risk of ending his career early with these injuries. They're really bad ones, especially back at such a young age. You know. Who else got omitted that I was really surprised? James Ward-Prowse.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel that he can warrant a spot. I mean, he's good on his deliveries, and he does keep the ball well. He's come through all the ranks of England, and he's not very injury prone. He's just managed to play 2 seasons without even being injured. So it's a bit of a tricky one, because I do think, like, going back to what we said earlier about the names and all that, like Henderson, he only played 45 minutes the other day, but he's been out since February. Like, Southgate has his like guys that he likes, and I don't know whether he trusts him enough to come on and do enough to warrant a place. But to me, I do feel that he could come on and do a job just like the last 20 minutes or so. I wouldn't say he'd be a starting player for me.
Yeah. And last one, well, I'm happy that he's not going, but I was surprised he didn't get picked. Eric Dyer.
Good, man. I'm not a Tottenham fan, but I know so many Tottenham fans are sick to death of him. I mean, like, I feel that he lived off that Sergio Ramos tackle that he done like years ago, and I can't remember a game where I thought Eric Dyer's done well. He just puts me on edge. Like, I don't think that he's a centre back. I'm not too sure if he's a defensive midfielder. I'm not too sure which position he actually feels comfortable in to do enough on the ball. Like, I think he had young potential back then. I almost feel like he's been given too many chances, and he doesn't want a space in the squad, which I was really happy that he didn't make the squad in general.
What do you think of the young 2 Dortmund players coming in, Jude Bellingham and Jadon Sancho?
I was going to say, for me, Jude Bellingham, after watching him in the Champions League, and I wouldn't say I've watched him loads over the German league, but he held his own in my eyes. Like, against City, he pretty much ran both them games in my eyes, like both legs. And that's the kind of thing I want to see Southgate take a risk on. I'd like to see him and maybe Declan Rice play together, or him and Mount play together if we're going to go for an attacking one. I think that he's the more of a guy that will carry it forward and do the donkey work as well, like coming back, tracking back, tackling. And yeah, I think that's where I'd like to see him being the key player, but not have too much expectation. But I do feel that he would be a future player. And for me, Sancho, I mean, he has had his injuries, and he's had a lot of talk about obviously signing for United. It's been going on for God knows how long. It just seems like it's dragging for too long. But there's times where I watch him for Dortmund, and I'm excited to see. Obviously, club levels are a lot more different because you've got like different players around you, and you've got like the likes of Haaland always finishing everything you got. But I sometimes feel that he's trying to do a little bit too much for England, and he does like do the flicks, like him and Grealish were linking up well. But instead of taking that extra touch, just do the one touch or shoot straight away sort of thing. But I would say that likewise, him coming off the bench, another one. Charred defenders after 60 minutes. That's going to be the perfect opportunity for him to show what he's got. And on the break, he's probably one of the most decisive and does the correct thing. I'd say 7 out of 10 times.
All right, this is a perfect opportunity for you to say who you would start then. Joe, who would yours, if you were manager, who would be your starting?
It's a tough one for starting off at the back. So I'm going to have to go Pickford, as much as I don't rate him enough to be a strong number one. He's the one with the experience. He's played pretty much most of the season, even though I find him quite short. But it's hard because I like to say Henderson hadn't played enough games for me, so he hasn't got the experience. And then I've got Sam Johnston. You can't. How could you live down that you play a relegated keeper, for example? Even though I do think that he has got a bit about him to want a starting place if he has to start. Right, but that's another one. I wouldn't be too disappointed to either see Kyle Walker or Reece James. I do think Kyle Walker's got that extra pace to make up for any actual mistake that he does make every now and then. But Reece James might not have the 100% experience. But then when are we going to keep using this? How much experience do they have to warrant a place? And he's just won the Champions League, likewise Chelsea. I think if they're fit, it's got to be Maguire and Stones. That's obvious. If not, to me, I'll probably go with Ben White. Ben White would be my backup for Harry Maguire, because he's actually more of a centre back for 4 and more reliable than the likes of Mings and Cody, pace and everything else. And left back, that's another tricky one, because we're going Luke Shaw and even Saka, even Chilwell. So it's Saka for me, he ain't left back, but I'd say more of a wing back. But and I'd be happy to see either Chilwell or Shaw. And I'd say in the middle for me would be probably going with what Southgate's going to probably do is either Rice and Mount, and depending on how attacking he goes, because I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up putting Rice and Henderson taking that gamble, but I'd be shocked if he started Bellingham, even though I do think he could have a role to play, definitely.
I think he could do a very good job.
Yeah, that's what I mean. He's a young man, but he's almost got an old man's shoulders on him. So I'd say for the flanks, for them to come in, I'll probably go with Grealish, Foden, and I'd like to say maybe Sancho, and then Kane just at the top, obviously. So yeah, it's hard. I mean, it's hard. It all depends on balance.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I agree with you about Pickford, man. He's just...
I can't take him.
No, I can't. He's just too cocky. But he's so shit. So shit. Yeah. For me, I'll go Dean Henderson's a much better stopper of the ball. Yeah, I would have Hendo at the back in goal. At the back, I'll probably, as much as I pissed him out, I'll probably say John Stones, but then probably someone with a bit more pace at the back of him, not Harry Maguire, man. Or Harry Maguire, who's actually a bit more headstrong, which you probably would do that, and then put someone like, as much as we say, Tyrone Mings there, because yet again, he'll give you that kind of, he'll do your donkey work, basically, where you'll have your Harry Maguire staying back for you. He'll move forward and come back. See what I'm saying? So someone to drop. Right, I probably wouldn't go with Kyle Walker. I probably would go with Reece James, because he's fresh from Champions League. He probably on that higher still. Left, not just because he's Chelsea, but probably will go with Chilwell as well. Midfield, yeah, I agree with Declan Rice. But then you go look at who's the most foul player in the league. I'd definitely play Jack Grealish, probably because he'll get you free kicks and probably a penalty at some point as well. Probably Grealish in there, and I'll probably go with Mason Mount. So you have 3 there, and then so what's that, 4-3-3, and then you go with your Right. I'm trying to think. Who would you put on your right, man? I'll probably go with what's his name? Jadon Sancho on the right. Middle, I'll probably go Harry Kane. Left, I probably will go with either Raheem.
Surely Phil Foden.
Yeah, probably Foden.
Well,
Foden actually, because
I'll
Foden
probably
he's so
swap.
flexible like that. And
He drifts in and out, so he can. And it's the same as Grealish. They probably rotate in between.
They could rotate,
So, for me,
easily.
The problem is going to lie is between now you're going to have the Foden Mount problem, which is now going to be your Gerrard Lampard moment, yeah? Whether they gel together and they play unbelievably together, or they're going to do the same thing that Lampard and Gerrard do, where they could not play together in the same team.
I'm going to have a point on that in a second. Let me just check if Sofiane's all right.
Sofiane.
Sofiane, see if your camera's working and you can unmute as well.
Oh.
There he is.
Hi everyone. Yeah, sorry, I'm actually in the shop. I'll put my cameras on in 5 minutes when I'll be home. So yeah,
No
I'm
problem.
representing France.
Representing France, had to get him in.
Yeah.
Vive la France, bleu. Okay, le bleu.
Listen,
Allez bleu, allez les bleus. Yeah.
No problem. Yeah, jump. Just drop Leo a message when you're ready, and I'll put you back in.
Yeah, mate. Give me just 7 minutes and I'll be on. Basically.
No problem. All right, no worries. I'll put you back in the studio for the meantime.
Perfect.
Sweet.
Thanks, guys.
Decent.
Yes, the Frenchman has come in.
Yeah, this is
Spice things up a little bit.
Sofiane. No, trust me, man. The guy's on it with the French team, right?
So, just on this whole Mount and Foden thing, I think if the coaching's correct, you just need one defensive midfielder. I think Declan Rice could do a job on his own. Have Mason Mount in the 8 and have Foden or Grealish in the 10. And I think that would work if you want to have the attacking, expansive football. Declan Rice he's not worth 80 million, but he's an incredible player. Who I think can hold the midfield by himself. And Mason Mount actually naturally works back anyway. It's just you'll have at least a bit more quality going forward. Henderson, as much as he's a leader, I've never rated him. Great captain, terrible footballer, in my opinion.
Oh, you saw his penalty, right?
I just in that game against Croatia, all I see is clips of him just doing long balls. Just knocking long balls, 60-yard balls to no one. He's so dreadful. But as a leader and a captain, I have to hold my hand up and say, you know what? He does his bit. But you know what? Let's go on to.
Shall we talk about underdogs? Let's see what you lot think about underdogs.
I had them down as I've got it down as dark horses, but just before that,
I'll go on.
What's the minimum requirement for your nation? Let's start with Italy.
Turning up, bruv. I swear down. I'm just gonna say turning up, mate. I don't want to. I'm gaslighting now, innit? And my worry is a gaslight, and we're just gonna do and that's it. But my worry is if we don't, as I say, always for me in the tournament, the first game kind of denotes what we do. So if we, my dad's got this theory, and I love my dad. So he goes with, hey, if we play bad, we lose one game, we do okay. But if we win every, we won't go far. So it's one of those things that if Italy win, draw, I'm happy with it. If Italy, I've seen them I think it was oh my God, I'm that old, man. I think it was Euro 96 where we didn't get past the group stage. We struggled. And then I think it was 1994 where we lost our first game against Ireland and then obviously went off to the final and lost in the final to Brazil. It's those little things of Italy are so... And then in 06, we won, drew and won. So for me, it's those type of those things that denote Italy. So as long as we can perform, and I'm not going to be funny, but if we do lose any of the games, as long as we perform in those games, I don't care. But if
how far do you think you'll go, though?
I'm going to have to say no comment, man.
He really doesn't want to jinx his omen, boy.
I'm going to say, as long as we get past the group stage, that's all I care about. Because our group is everyone's like, oh, I'm worried about Turkey. I'm worried about Wales because, yeah, again, when they want, they can perform. I know Bale hasn't had the great. It's not all about Bale, but actually, it's something about when they all play together. There's just this chemistry, and it's just that whole togetherness as well. And yeah, again, Switzerland, they're another bastardy team, man. They really are. They're like Chelsea Stokes, man. That's what they're like, man. They're literally, I'm telling you, they're one of these things where they either underperform or that everyone wants to play against Italy, as my dad says. No matter how small the team is, it could be North Macedonia, brother. They'll still try and beat us. And I think it's just because it's that whole playing a bigger team. They always try harder to beat the bigger names, to be that team that upsets them. So there's my worry at the moment. So I'm going to say, as long as we get past the group stage, I'll be happy.
Right. Joe, England, how far do they go?
Off the bus and back
like
on,
another
yeah?
one. I'd say getting at the group stage as well. Like getting at the group, like I don't think it's going to be a walk in the park at all. I mean, you got the likes of Scotland; they're going to see that as their final. Like,
Yeah,
trying
absolutely.
to play England. That is their bragging rights for God knows how many years. And that's the second game, so all depends on like the first game as well, how they start and how they set up. So as long as you don't keep making too many experiments and changes at the wrong time, I think that I read something the other day. I think if England win the group, they end up playing someone in Portugal, France, or Germany's group, which then obviously they go pretty much. They're going to be the big underdog out of any of them.
Yeah.
And I think the second one, I think if they play like Sweden, Poland, or Spain, if they come second, I think it was. But which then makes me think: do you want to just play second because you're too scared to play the top team? Because you've got to play them at some point. So
Absolutely.
rather build a momentum and see where it gets you. But like I always say, you've got to get out that group stage first because it's not going to be as easy as everyone like wants to imagine it's going to be.
No, it's going to be very interesting. Very, very interesting. Right, what we'll do before Sofiane comes on and takes over with his French propaganda, because we know how strong the French are. Let's just say who we think is going to qualify from each group, the top two, and in which order. So for Group A, I'm going to go Italy, and then Turkey.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
Leo's trying so hard not to say anything.
Yeah, Italy. I'm gonna say. Do you know what? I say Italy, Turkey. I think Turkey are gonna be dark horses in this tournament. So I'm gonna say Italy, Turkey. I agree.
Right, Group B. If Belgium wins that, I don't know who finishes second in that though. I'm gonna go Russia.
Is Haaland? Denmark didn't bring Haaland, did they? He's Norwegian. That's why.
No way. Yeah, no way. Yeah.
What Dick? Shut up. It's been a long day, boys. Give me a chance. At least I rectified it straight away. Yeah, Belgium, Russia. There's something about them after that last tournament they had. There's something about them, man. They've just got this new piece of life as well. What do you think, Joe?
Yeah, I'd say it's either definitely between Russia and Denmark. There's something I don't know. I mean, yeah, just Belgium are for me. Belgium are 100%, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I think that there could be a few Denmark players that they've got the experience of, like Kasper Schmeichel, few centre backs that obviously Ericsson as well. Yeah, and I do think there's that. Yeah, I think it all depends on. Probably it comes down to goal difference in my eyes.
Actually, yeah, they got Poulsen from Leipzig as well, haven't they?
Yep.
Actually, when I think about it, Denmark's team's not bad.
Denmark are not a poor team, you know.
Not a bad side, actually.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think
again, Finland.
Ireland recently as well.
Yeah, I think just keep an eye on Finland as well, you know.
That's actually an
Pookie.
interesting group.
Pookie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Group
Joe,
B's
Group B?
Netherlands. That's a
It's tough,
tricky.
isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, my mate pointed out to me the other day, Macedonia, they still got Pandev playing. He's at 38.
The guy gets on my
Yeah.
nerves, Gore. He
He's
is.
still
Look,
banging. He's still banging.
Goran Pandev, man, I'll call him the devil, bro, because he looks like he's got the eyebrows and everything, innit? And in Italy,
Yeah,
when he played,
yeah.
bro, he always scored against Juventus, whether he played for Lazio or Genoa, innit? And my dad always used to crack him up because I used to just call him the devil guy. The guy still scores goals, but yeah, again, it's North Macedonia, man. So Group C, I think it's going to be Netherlands, Austria.
I'm going to go Netherlands, Ukraine.
Nah.
Yeah.
I don't know why. But
Alaba, Austria, I've got a feeling, man.
Yeah. Sofiane, you're muted, by the way, just in case you wasn't sure.
Yeah, but I knew. Thanks for that, but I knew I was muting.
Okay,
Sorry.
cool.
So yeah, I mean, interesting chat to be fair, like about the Euro Cup, and I think this year is going to be like an interesting, like a Euro Cup, to be honest, because there is so many teams who brought up so many young players, to be fair, like and especially England, like France, and so on, like Italy. Actually, I think they are going to do well this year, like and I guess what is really interesting about this Euro Cup is to see all these young players who are going to play like a Euro, a decisive, like a championship for their national identities, to be honest. And then I think France has a good chance, and I'm not biased when I say that because I'm French.
Sorry, I'm
But yeah,
Feel free to be biased.
Sure,
France are
yeah.
favourites.
yeah, and also Italy and England. When you see their squad, basically, like you can notice that they've got a potential basically to win this Euro Cup. And if you look at 3 years ago when France won the World Cup, like plenty of young players and all this stuff, and it was great for all the French people to see that, to be honest. And I guess it's also great to see how Italy is doing, but how England is also doing. So if I have to bet on any of this team, I wouldn't bet, to be fair, because I don't know who is going to win this Euro Cup. What does that make sense?
France are winning it.
I'm not sure, to be honest, about that.
Why are you unsure about France, out of curiosity?
Let me explain you that, because France has some rich problem right now, which means so many people in the front, like Mbappe, Benzema, Giroud, Griezmann, and everyone basically, like, and it would be hard for the manager to make a decision on who to start with basically during the game, because if you look at Benzema performances, for the last 2 games, he hasn't scored, but also he hasn't been like in the squad for the last 5 years. Giroud came in and scored 2 goals within 30 minutes, even though if he hasn't played for Chelsea for the last 6 months. So it would be hard, to be honest, for a manager to handle all those players, to be fair, during the Euro Cup. So this is why I think it's going to be hard this year for France.
Interesting take. I mean, personally, I feel like the French squad's crazy. I mean,
they had another team on the bench whilst the other team was still playing, man.
Literally, you could field 3 separate squads. It's
the thing is, you got your goalkeeper wise. Yeah, I mean, you got Hugo Lloris, and then you got the new Milan goalkeeper Mike Maignan, and then Steve Mandanda as well. See, your defense wise, Digne left back. Yeah, good player. Dubois, I don't know much about. Lucas Hernandez, pacey for Bayern, unbelievable.
Great player.
Kimpembe, PSG, bit hit and miss. I think if he has a good game, he's unbelievable. Koundé as well, good player for Seville. Clement Longley as well from Barcelona, good player. Pacey. Pavard, after the World Cup, he just disappeared off the face of the earth. Didn't really see him do much with Bayern. But yeah, again, I'm sure he'll play really well with France. Varane, obviously, the guy is just a beast at the back. Kurt Zuma, why? Just why? I'm sorry. He won the Champions League with Chelsea, but very hit and miss. And then you look in your midfield, you've got Kingsley Coman, who's just unbelievable. Pacey, left-sided, play up, great. N'Golo Kante, well, the guy's everywhere. Don't need anyone else in the midfield. Thomas Lemar.
He's the best.
Yeah, Lemar.
He's unbelievable.
Who, Lemar or N'Golo Kante?
Kante.
N'Golo Kante, mate, is actually everywhere he goes, he wins. So
He's just
basically,
phenomenal.
yeah.
He's so placid as well, which is nice to see. Such a grounded player. Thomas Lemar wouldn't have brought Atletico Madrid. I mean, yes, they won the league, but yeah, again, he's been injured most of the season as well. Paul Pogba. Yet again, I'm a fan of the Pog, but yeah, again, in the long run, he's going off his name at the moment. He hasn't really played much for.
Yeah, I'm going to stop you there.
Go on.
I think Paul Pogba is a great discussion point right now because Sofiane Joe supports Manchester United.
Yeah.
Now, we see two different Paul Pogbas, in my opinion. We have the France Paul Pogba and we have the Manchester United Paul Pogba.
I still see the Juventus one, mate.
What's your thoughts on Paul? Like, what's the reputation of Paul Pogba from the French perspective?
I think he's the same as you, to be honest. If you look at him in Premier League or ever you went, basically, you think that this player is overrated, but in France, he does the job. I think for him, he needs a good manager who knows how to coach him. To be fair, if you are an average manager that don't know really much his player, so it will be hard for you to coach someone like Paul Pogba. But if you got someone who can coaches him properly, you can make him a really good football player.
See, with Pogs, man, do you know what it is? If he's got that unity in the team, so he's a big character anyway. And I know, obviously, you see him from United's perspective. He's injured a lot, but he's always in touch with the players. But when he's in the team, he brings them all together. And then, obviously, if you follow him on Instagram or whatever and just see what he gets up to, he's a lot of playing about and antics. But it's like the French team has got this kind of brotherhood going on at the moment. And actually, that is that's what you get. That's where you get the best out of Paul Pogba. Because he's good friends with Griezmann and he's always mucking around with him, Antoine, and all that. But yet again, you put that kind of unity there, he'll perform to the highest extent because he feels comfortable. It's the same as Juventus. They gave him the number 10 shirt, made him the centre point, and he was just banging goals left, right, and centre.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
what's your views on him, Joe?
Let me take a step back on that. I think it's all about the manager, to be honest. If the manager knows how to coach his team, he wins basically. And I think in Man United, the manager, I mean, he's good to be fair, but he doesn't know exactly how to handle Paul Pogba in a long run. But Gigi Deschamps knows how to do that with every single player he has because he has so many talented players. To be honest, Griezmann, Benzema, Paul Pogba, N'Golo Kante, and he has to play with every single of players. At the end of the day, it's how you adapt with every single player that you have and how you coach them. And for me, this is what is most important, from a coach, because you can't really have a chat with you. I mean, every single player is different, let's say. I'm Sofiane Fadel. Maybe I will accept some word that some other wouldn't accept, to be fair. But the manager needs to feel what to say basically to his players. Does that make sense?
No,
We
Yeah.
Joe, what's your thoughts on Paul Pogba and what Sofiane's saying about coaching?
For me, Pogba, well, with United, he's never had an actual proper connection of, like, let's say, for example, 2 full seasons with a decent defensive midfielder, where he's had to basically, I think when he first came, he was playing with Fellaini. I think then the next season it's, let's say, McTominay, Freud. Now it's Fernandes, but there's not been a consistency of, say, like 3 in the middle and consistent. And he gets heavily criticised. Anything that goes wrong, even when he weren't playing, it's all about Pogba. It's all about, because you know how much of a star player he is. And from what I
Yeah.
can see and what I've seen previously, like for example, Juve, he had the likes of Pirlo around him. He had the quality players. Once he's got that quality, like he's got with France, Kante, them sort of players around him with Man United, then he can express, he expresses himself, but half the time it's because of the bad quality he's got next to him that let him down heavily. So for me, everyone knows. I think that everyone overlooks too much. Wants to find a mistake in his game.
But Sofiane, looking at your strikers, yeah. So obviously Benzema is back after having like unbelievable season with Real Madrid. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's great that he is back, to be fair. Like, I think everyone in France has been waiting for ever to have Benzema back into
Yeah.
the squad.
Finally.
And no one really understood why. We know that Benzema was a bit in trouble with the situation he went for with this other
The
French.
blackmailing.
Yeah. I mean, no one knows the truth also about the situation because he went to court and I mean, nothing happened to Benzema, to be honest. And if you look at the big picture, this guy is earning a shit of lots of money, to be honest, every week and every month. What does he need to scam someone, basically, based on some fake or I don't know exactly assumptions? But yeah, it's everyone is happy to have him back, and France. I mean, the Benzema shirt has been sold like I don't know how many Benzema shirts France have sold like for the last 3 weeks, but it was crazy based on the major basically. Everyone was buying Benzema shirts because everyone wants him to be in the squad. And also, if you think about diversity, France has always been like a team with black people,
Mm-hmm.
Arab people, North African people, people from everywhere around the world, to be honest.
Yeah.
And Benzema
Algerians,
is,
yeah.
yeah, exactly. He's representing like a big part of the French society. So, which is good for everyone. Zidane has done that, Benzema is doing that, and so many players are going to do that moving forward, basically.
Quick question on Benzema. Why do you think Deschamps brought him back? And do you think it's because Anthony Martial's had a very below par season?
Yeah, that's a great question, to be fair. And if you look at Benzema season and Anthony Martial season, I mean, and also all about the debates that were like in the public channels in France about Benzema, said everyone, but no one understood why Benzema it wasn't in the squad, to be fair. I said, guys, this is the guy that we need to have. He had like such a great season with Real Madrid, and without having Ronaldo next to him or anything like this. And if we are honest with each other, like Real Madrid were having like such a shit team this season, and then they ended up by being second in their championship and being in the semi-final of the Champions League. So say, mate, you can't if you've got a goal in your hand, you can't just let it go basically like this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Do you know what I think is, if you think about the Real Madrid of past, where you had the Ronaldos, obviously had Ronaldo, right? In the long run, Benzema was scoring, but who the team was playing for Ronaldo, not for anyone else, because he was their key player. I'm going to say you had the Bales and everyone else. Very depleted Real Madrid team this season. Obviously on the latter end of age as well. So you think about the players are on their way out. They're starting to rebuild the Galacticos again. He needed to step up. He stepped up, scored goals, and actually proved his worth. He's now in his prime as a striker. And actually, I think he's matured a hell of a lot since, obviously, from when the old Benzema to when now. And this is his time to kind of show his worth as well as a striker for the French national team. Okay. So I think, although he may have been in the limelight with the Madrid team, I think at that point it was because of who he had around him. This season, he was the guy, the go-to guy, and he stood up to that plate and actually just served it up as he needed to. So I think that he very much deserved it. Even if Anthony Martial had a bit of a better season, I would have bought him tenfold over Anthony Martial.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, we're going to come up to wrapping up this stream. But before we say who we think is going to win the Euro, let's just finish up saying who we might think will go through from groups D, E, and F. So Sofiane, from Group D, who finishes top? Who finishes second?
Group G, I think England will finish top, and I'm unsure about Croatia and Czech Republic for second, to be honest.
Anyone agree, disagree?
I'm going to disagree. I'm just going to put a cat amongst the pigeons just for the sake of it. I think it's going to be England, Scotland. I'm telling you, man. I just want to put it. I'm just going to put it out there. I hope Scotland do it, just because it'd be nice for them to go to the next stage.
Does Scotland beat England?
If you want to make easy money, 12-1 England not coming out of the group.
That'd be hilarious, man. I think England are going to beat Scotland, but I think Scotland will do themselves justice in all their games. Actually,
it is. Okay, Joe, you take Group E. Who finishes top and who finishes second?
Group E for me, I'll go Spain, or it's between Poland and Sweden. If Lewandowski can start firing from the off, then I'm going to go with Poland, because Sweden has still got the players there, but I do think that they need a few more attacking players to probably carry them a bit further, which I think Poland have got that a little bit extra.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to say Poland, Sweden, mate. I'm going to leave Spain out of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah. Yep. I've just got a feeling, man, like they've got, like, not being funny, they left, although Ramos, whatever, the guys.
That's a big loss, actually.
That the guy's a backbone for that team, whether he's on the bench, whether he's on the side, you know what I mean? Like, but for me, I think something's just going to happen. I think they're just on the rebuild stage now. So I think Spain are where Italy were for the rebuild side of things. And I think the team hasn't had time really to gel. I don't know. I just got a little bit of a feeling, man. I'm not going to say it's going to be 100%, but I think it's not going to be as easy as they think it's going to be. I might be wrong. It might be Spain, Poland, but yeah.
I'm going Spain, Poland myself.
Yeah, same here. I'm going for Spain, Poland.
Nice.
Right. The group of death.
Hungary, Germany, bruv. I'm joking. Oof. See,
I don't know. I keep changing my mind. I'm going France. I just don't know who's finishing second. I'm going to go France, Germany.
Portugal.
France, Germany.
Ronaldo's last hurrah, man. And the thing is, France. I love France. Don't get me wrong. I don't love France. I don't dislike France. But my thinking is, what is it? Was it 2002?
Oh, when they went up the group stages, yeah.
And there was all pressure on them because they won the Euros the year before, didn't they?
Yeah,
And they lost.
but it was the World Cup, by the way.
Yeah, I know. So they won the Euro 2000. They beat Italy in the final on golden goal. The only time
Come on, France!
Fuck off. The only time it was ever used in the final, never to be seen again. Bloody Sepp Blatter. For me, I think there's a lot of pressure riding on France at the moment. So whether they live to that standard and just say, you know what, yeah, we can live up to it and do that and destroy the group, or they cascade and melt. But for me, I think it's Portugal's last, Ronaldo's last hurrah with Portugal. I think he's going to try and do something. And Germany, well, they've been on and off the boil. So I'm going to say, yeah, France, Portugal. But yet again, as I say, Germany I'm never counting them out, to be honest.
Joe?
Yeah, because I remember watching the last Euros and I couldn't believe how bad Portugal actually managed to win it. Like they kind of winned it to the final and got that goal
and beat France
out of nothing, basically.
Yeah,
and but they've actually got better players now. I actually feel they've got better players.
Bruno Fernandes.
But the only problem I mean, it is literally out of them 3 games when they all play each other, who's gonna fall first, basically for me. Who can handle the pressure? It is all about who's gonna start off well, and if there's a time to start off well, it's the first game for all of them really to get the ball rolling. Who's going out?
Yeah. Absolutely. Sofiane?
I mean, I would say France and Portugal, to be fair. I don't really see Germany. I mean, Germany, for me, they are going to struggle this year. I might be completely wrong, but this is what I'm thinking.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the consolation for a lot of these nations is that I believe just 4 best third place teams qualify.
4, yeah.
I think it's 4 because it will go to round of 16, wouldn't it? So 6 teams, 2 of each. That will make 12. So you need another 4 teams. So I believe it will be the best 4.
There's your Scotland, Sweden, Wales, and then Germany. Then that's it.
Probably that, yeah, along those lines. All right, to finish up off really quickly, who wins? Who wins the Euros? Joe?
I can't think of who gonna win because if I'm a betting man as well, and for me, I couldn't even gamble or even recommend who I'd actually back because, like I said before, Portugal winning it, pulled it out of the hat. It could be anyone, and look, going back to when Greece won it. Who's going to think that Greece ever had a chance? I mean, this could be one of them Euros who turned up on the day for me.
Yeah. Sofiane, go on.
Who wins Euros?
Yeah, to be fair, I would say Italy, not because I want to please Leo, but because on fact they have been unbeaten for so many games recently. They've got so many new players that not many people knows about them, and I think they've got some great chances to win the Euro.
Okay, Leo.
The fans.
Leo,
The fans, football's back. That's what I'm gonna say, man. I
always
can't
sitting
lie,
on
man.
the fence.
Look, all right, look. I
Yeah,
pray that we win it, but as I say, you know, I'm always gonna say Italy. But for me, I think it's just a very big thing to say because I want Italy to win it. You know what I want, but who wins it, I think it's down to who turns up on the day. To be honest, but for me, the fans are winning because football's back, and actually, we're gonna have a freaking tournament, which I'm actually so gassed about. It's unbelievable. I can't wait. Tomorrow night, I'll tell you. Tomorrow night, we'll see.
I'm gonna say France win it.
Oh, it's so
I just
big.
think they're too strong.
I mean, at the end of the day, whoever wins it, I think we are
man.
going to have a great summer with football and sunshine and sharing something with our mates and friends. I mean, like something new to discuss and all this stuff. And this is going to be a great win for everyone, basically, in Europe or in the world.
Yeah, this is where the world unite or the Europe
Yeah,
unites, shall we say, and then the world comes into play. Oh,
exactly.
Joe's gone.
Right. Well, listen. Thank you very much for your time. Actually, any future shows that are happening, I'm definitely going to have you on. Sofiane, by the way, what club do you support?
I mean, where in France or in the UK, in
Give us
England?
both. Give us both.
Because, yeah, in France, Marseille,
Okay.
I'm originally from, south of France. And in the UK, I like Liverpool, even though they have been shit this season. But Liverpool, like, I like them. I like the vibe.
Listen, I'll definitely have you both on again in the future. That when the season's coming up, we can do season previews
Defo.
and such, and yeah, just chat football. Just chat
Anytime.
I'll give you the Anton Griezmann, yeah?
football. Absolutely. Guys, listen, subscribe to Eagle Eyed Football, like, share, subscribe, and we are out.
Out, bro.
Have a good one, guys.
See you later.